Chapter 19. Tyler's hand touched the ring box in his pocket again. The producers had taken him to their private designer the day before, and he'd picked out the perfect ring for Laney. The jeweler's selection was all beautiful, but Tyler knew when he laid eyes on the princess-cut diamond that it was the one for her. He hadn't even gotten to see her much after their kiss on the beach, but a part of him was glad. Every time he thought about her, he wanted to kiss her again, and Tyler knew he would have if he'd had any alone time with her. But Justin made sure that didn't happen. Instead, Justin tried to keep him busy with shopping and helping to edit some of the footage, including the kiss with Laney. Marianne had been quite a distance away when the kiss happened, but the distance hadn't affected the heat. It looked as passionate on screen as it had been in real life, and now he was only minutes away from getting to kiss her again. The women filed in, and Tyler marveled at their acting ability. Even though none of them knew of his proposal, they all understood Laney was the only woman for him. Yet they still wore hopeful, nervous expressions as they walked in. "Welcome, ladies," Justin said when all the women were in. "Tonight will be the final elimination ceremony. There are 10 of you, but Tyler only has 4 hats. Remember, if he does not give you a hat, that you must say your goodbyes and exit the house. Tyler, when you're ready." Tyler picked up a hat and smiled out at the women. Justin had given him a prepared speech to memorize, and while the gesture annoyed Tyler at first, he was glad now. His own thoughts were failing him as he looked out at Laney. "Ladies, first let me say that it's been a pleasure getting to know you all. This journey is not an easy one, as there are things about each of you I have come to adore, but I had to make a decision on those I envisioned in my life long term." He took a breath, no longer sure if it was for added effect or because he needed it. "Laney?" As she made her way to him, joy burst inside him, and he couldn't help but grin at her. "Laney, from the day I met you when you first fell into my arms to the day you fell at the rink, you have stood out to me. Your sweet spirit shines through in all you do and captured my heart. So I have to ask you." His right hand went to his pocket, and he grabbed the box. "Will you marry me?" In one motion, he pulled the box out, dropped to his knees, and flipped the lid. Behind her, every woman's jaw dropped. Tyler had no idea if they were acting or truly shocked, but he didn't care. His attention was on the woman in front of him, whose mouth had parted to accept his hat, and now hung suspended as she stared at the ring. Her eyes darted to his, and the questions swam in them. She wanted to know if he was serious. With a slight nod, he reassured her, and her lips folded into a huge smile. "Yes, Tyler, of course I will marry you." As Tyler slid the beautiful ring on Laney's hand, the surrealness hit. He had just proposed to a woman he had only known for a few weeks, and she had accepted. How was that possible? But he knew the answer to that. If God was in control of this relationship, then time was only a number. "Congratulations, Laney," Justin said, and the girls behind echoed his sentiments. "I know the season ended a little early, but don't worry, we have a few more episodes up our sleeves. Join us next week as Laney travels to Tyler's ranch to meet his friends, and make sure the ranching life is one she can live with. Then we'll travel to Laney's house and meet her family, and if we're lucky, maybe we'll be airing their wedding in the future." Justin's game show face folded when the camera stopped rolling and he became all business. "All right, ladies, you can get packed up. We'll be reaching out to you about the Maui show. I'm sorry things didn't work out this time, but that's the nature of this business. Laney, Tyler, we should talk about the filming schedule for the next 2 weeks." Tyler pulled Laney to him and kissed her forehead. "Sure, Justin, we can do that. But do you think we could have just a minute or two to celebrate?" This whole show had been a whirlwind, blowing him from one place to the next, and he just needed a moment to catch his breath and to steal another kiss from the woman who had just agreed to be his wife.